everybody. This is another special edition of Hashing Out the Law. This is Meet the CCB edition. Today, I have a guest of mine, John Rogers. He's a member of the Criminal Courts Bar Association, the CCBA. John, welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks, Arash. Thanks for having me.
So, John, you're actually a new member of the executive board. You are the treasurer, correct?
That's right.
And I was a treasurer before. How do you like that job?
Well, with the pandemic, there's not really much to be done because we're not having in-person meetings, but I'm trying to do whatever I can.
Now, John, when did you join the organization and why did you join the organization?
I joined the organization, I believe I started attending meetings, I think back in 2014. And I joined because when I first started practicing, I just started out on my own. So I kind of wanted to meet a lot of seasoned attorneys, to meet them and ask them questions because didn't really have a lot of people to ask, and wanted to meet lawyers and just kind of get my face around.
That's actually a great reason to join the organization. Is been around for a long time. It's full of seasoned veterans, for lack of better terms, and they can answer any questions that you have. Now, John, you've been practicing on your own, you mentioned. When did you start practicing?
I started practicing in 2013.
Okay. And I asked this question of all my fellow lawyers, and people ask me the question too. So I'm going to ask you the question. What was that pivotal moment in your life where you decided that you wanted to be an attorney?
It was when I was 20 years old. I got a jury summons, and I kept thinking, how am I going to get out of this? And I showed up, and it was out of Santa Ana. It was out of Orange County, and I just sat and watched. And we got picked. It was a petty theft case, from what I can recall. I never got chosen to be on the jury, but I got to watch voir dire. I got to hear from the judge and hear from all the attorneys, and I just got really intrigued by it and very fascinated by it. And the defense attorney, he was I guess a first year public defender at the time, and I remember he was questioning all the jurors and prospective jurors, and it's really funny because I actually asked those very same questions to this day back then. And he's actually an alternate public defender now. His name is Lee Stoneham, and I didn't even realize it until about 2-3 years ago. So it was about that moment that I became really intrigued in the criminal justice system, and I really wanted to become an attorney after that.
So did you tell Lee this story and how he inspired you?
I did tell, and he started laughing. So we actually went to lunch shortly after that, and we speak frequently now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, John, what is your favorite part of practice? Now, I know you started on your own, so I can relate to that. And I know that sometimes practice of law involves business, and they don't teach us that. So let's forget about that. Let's just talk about pure practice of law. What's your favorite part?
Doing a good job for your client. It's kind of a long story, but
We got time.
yeah, when we first meet clients as criminal defense attorneys, generally our clients are at rock bottom. They're at the lowest part of their life and they're looking for help. So I get a lot of joy resolving the case, getting some type of verdict, and performing well for the client so that they're actually happy and they're doing better in life. You're getting them from rock bottom, and that's actually my favorite part of practice. Um, I also just like criminal law in general. I relate it to both chess and poker. I'm not very good at poker, but I played chess as a kid growing up. So it's really just about strategy, positioning yourself so you can get a resolution on the case that is favorable to the client.
Great. You mentioned you played chess when you were growing up. Let me ask you, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Newport Beach,
So you're an Orange County guy?
Orange County guy.
Let me ask you this. Do you prefer Orange County court system to LA County court system?
I like them both, but I like LA County Court a lot better.
All right. We can continue this conversation then. Now, John, um, where did you go to law school?
I went to the University of West Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. And you grew up in Orange County. When was the first time that I know Orange County is right next to LA County and we always go back and forth, but when was the first time that you actually felt that you are now an LA County guy and not an Orange County guy anymore?
Well, when I moved to LA, it must have been in 2008. I lived in Santa Monica for 10 years. It just grew on me. I liked it a lot. I felt like I was kind of sheltered in Orange County. It was quieter, but when I came to LA, it was loud. It was fun. I met a lot of great people. So um, I'd probably have to say maybe a year or two after I moved to LA.
And now, do you still consider yourself LA County guy, or are you back at a Orange County guy, or are you a mix?
I'm a mixed. I'm a mixed kind of guy.
Okay. Now, John, if you had the dream case and not worrying about the fees or anything like that, but the dream case that you could have, what case would that be?
I already had it.
Nice, good answer. What is your dream case?
It's a long story behind it, but there was a woman that I became friends with. She was much older than me, and we became very close. And she started getting very sick. So she had liver problems, liver disease, and about a month before she passed, she said, "If I die, I need you to take over this case. I need you to do this case for me. It's a trial. I don't think he did it, and I need you to do it because I don't trust anyone." So I said, "No problem." I didn't even know what the case was. So I got word that she died, and it was awful. It was very sad, but I got the case information the day after she died. I called up the prosecutor and I said, I'm going to be representing this person, and subject to them being okay with it, I'm going to do this case. And he said, "Sure, no problem. Sorry to hear about the news." And I visit the client. He's agreeable with me representing him. Turns out it's a 5-count attempted murder case, and it's a now pro bono case. So it was in San Fernando, and I first appeared, and the judge said, "This is a really old case, so I'm going to give you about 3-4 months. Is that okay?" And I didn't even know how to respond. I was like, "This is multiple life count case. I don't know if I'm going to be ready." And she said, "Well, is this your oldest case? Like, is this your oldest case? This should take a priority." And I was like, "If you're going to give me 4 months, I'll be ready in 4 months." So I just put everything aside, and I went to trial on that case. It was in front of Judge Olfig, and I walked the client. Couldn't believe it.
Nice.
And ever since that, I was just so happy about it because it was a favor to a friend that was very close to me, and I just put a lot of effort. I put my heart into that case, so I really consider that my dream case.
That's
So
awesome. That's a great story. That's a great
yeah.
story. See, I learned something about you today. Now, for all the audience, tell us something that we don't know about you, but if we looked at you, it would be very obvious.
It's really hard for me to talk about myself, so I don't know. I can't think of anything at the moment. Um,
There you go. That's your answer.
something
Hard-
that
It's hard for you to talk about yourself.
Oh, perfect, perfect,
You're not off
perfect.
the
I'll
hook.
go with
You're
that.
not off the hook, John. I need an answer.
Something that's I think I smile too much.
Okay, that's not a bad thing. That's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Oh, the question was something. Yeah, I guess it's I smile too much.
That's actually a great answer for the question. It was tell us something we don't know about you, but we can learn from looking at you.
Most people say that I don't. I'm very serious, but I don't consider myself. I think I smile a lot, and I think sometimes that's not good. But
I think people think you're very serious is because you don't like to talk about yourself. So you sit there and you listen, and people think, oh, this guy's very serious. He doesn't want to mess around. But you actually are not. I don't want to say you're not serious, but you're not as serious as people think you are. You're actually a guy or an approachable person. But let's move on. Let's take the pressure off a little bit because I know you're in the hot seat. Uh, so when you're not practicing law, what do you like to do, John?
I play golf. I grew up surfing, so I like to be out in the water a lot of the times. Hang out with friends, go hiking, um, and generally, I like to read books on criminal law, cross examination, um, and I read a lot of cases too. I always every Friday I read all the most recent published opinions.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna call you every Friday afternoon so you can tell me all the published
I'll give
opinions.
you the cliff notes. I'll give you the cliff notes.
Do you like to read fiction about criminal law as well, or do you just like to read like practice guides or um, nonfiction?
Practice guides. I
Practice.
always like to improve my practice as much as possible, learn the law as much as I can. When I first started practicing, um, I remember I bought the CEB book, the Criminal Law Bible, and I said, okay, um, maybe if I just read this book, I'll figure this whole thing out. And it didn't, but I basically read it cover to cover, and I just forgot. I mean, there were very thin pages, so every like 10 pages, I forgot
You
what I
read
read,
that thing cover to cover?
cover to cover.
Wow. For people who haven't seen it, that thing is about this thick, and John is
Well,
right. Yeah, yeah. Hold it up for him, John. Yeah, it's right there. Look at that. And those pages are very, very thin.
they're very thin. These are very thin pages.
That's awesome. Well, if I need cliff notes on that, John, did you read the newest version, by the way? I don't want old cliff notes, okay?
Right.
All right. Now, John, tell me one thing that you would like everybody to know about you that is your burning desire for people to know that but they don't know yet.
I'm always willing to help someone, help people.
That's
I will
awesome.
always do that.
That's awesome. It was a pleasure, John. I congratulate you on your position as treasurer this year. I congratulate you on winning your dream case. That's a great accomplishment. I actually learned that today. I didn't know you had done that. And I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Arash.